Let me tell you something that will shake you from the inside out. A smart woman doesn't run after what was never meant to define her. She knows her worth. She knows her power. And she knows that chasing, whether it's people validation or fleeting desires, is the fastest way to lose both. Today, I'm giving you 6 truths that will shift the way you see yourself forever. Let's start with one of the most common traps women fall into: chasing attention. Society has programmed us to believe that if we're not constantly being noticed, constantly being praised, constantly being seen, then somehow we don't matter. From the time we're young, we're told dress this way, talk that way, sit smaller, smile bigger, so that the world will pay attention to us. And slowly, without realizing it, many of us start to live for those fleeting moments when someone else validates our existence by saying, "I see you." But let me tell you something. If the only time you feel seen is when someone else decides to look your way, then you've handed over the keys to your worth. Attention is one of the cheapest currencies in the world, and yet it's treated like gold. People chase it on social media, in their relationships, at work, and in friend groups. They measure their value by likes, by comments, by claps, by stares across a room. And here's the harsh truth: attention doesn't equal respect. Attention doesn't equal love. Attention doesn't equal power. A million eyes on you won't save you if none of those eyes truly care. And when you start to chase attention, you become addicted to an audience that will never stay loyal. Because attention is temporary, it shifts, it fades, and the second you stop feeding it, it leaves. A smart woman doesn't need to scream for attention. She doesn't need to perform like a circus act to be acknowledged. She knows that attention gained by chasing is never sustainable. It burns out faster than it came. Instead, she focuses on her presence. You know what presence is? It's when you walk into a room and people notice, not because you demanded it, but because your energy is undeniable. Presence is magnetic. Presence is when people feel your confidence before you even say a word. And you don't build presence by chasing. It comes when you live in alignment with who you really are. Think about it. The most unforgettable women aren't the ones who run after the spotlight. They're the ones who carry their own light so boldly that the spotlight has no choice but to follow. They don't bend themselves into someone else's idea of worthy just to be seen. They set their own standard and let the world rise to meet it. That's the difference between someone who constantly craves attention and someone who commands it. The first is exhausting, the second is effortless. And here's the secret. The less you chase attention, the more it chases you. When you stop caring about whether people are looking, you free yourself to focus on becoming someone worth looking at. When you stop begging to be noticed, you start building substance. And substance will always outlast flash. Substance is what makes people not just notice you, but respect you, remember you, and want to follow your lead. You're not here to be a quick distraction. You're here to be unforgettable. So, hear me when I say this: stop begging the world to look at you. Stop dimming your fire just to fit into a spotlight that was never designed for you in the first place. Stand tall in your truth. Live fully in your power. And watch how effortlessly attention finds you. Because real attention, the kind that lasts, the kind that matters, is not something you run after. It's something you attract when you refuse to chase. A smart woman never chases attention because she already knows she is the attention. Validation. That word alone carries so much weight. It is one of the greatest prisons women get locked into, often without even realizing it. From the moment we take our first steps, the world conditions us to look outside ourselves for approval. As little girls, we're praised when we're pretty, rewarded when we're polite, applauded when we fit neatly inside someone else's expectations. And those tiny doses of validation feel good. They feel like love, like acceptance, like belonging. But over time, those small hits create a dangerous dependency. You start believing your value only exists when someone else hands it to you. You start believing your worth is negotiable, conditional, and fragile. And that is where the cycle begins. The endless chase for validation. Validation is seductive because it feels like certainty. When your boss praises you, when your partner compliments you, when society claps for you, it feels like proof that you're enough. But here's the truth no one tells you. Validation is temporary. It's like sugar. It gives you a high, but it crashes fast. And when it fades, you're left craving the next fix. That's why chasing validation is so dangerous. It doesn't matter how much you collect. It will never be enough. It's like pouring water into a broken glass. It keeps slipping through the cracks, leaving you empty again and again. And in that emptiness, you start performing, twisting, and molding yourself into what others want, just to hear those words. You're good enough. A smart woman refuses to be addicted to that cycle. She understands that validation is not evil, but it is never the source of her identity. She doesn't need constant applause to believe she's talented. She doesn't need constant reassurance to believe she's beautiful. She doesn't need the world's approval to believe she's worthy. Her self-esteem is built on her own foundation, not on shifting sands. She knows who she is in the silence, when no one is clapping, when no one is praising, when no one is watching. That's when her worth shines the brightest. Because worth that depends on others is fragile, but worth that comes from within is unshakable. Look around. How many people do you see performing every single day, desperate for approval? They change their voices, their values, their dreams just to fit in. They stay in jobs they hate because leaving would disappoint their families. They stay in relationships that drain them because they fear being labeled unlovable. They silence their opinions because they're terrified of rejection. That's not living, that's surviving. And surviving on borrowed validation is the fastest way to lose your soul. When you chase validation, you hand the world the power to decide whether you matter. And the world will use that power against you every single time. But when you stop chasing validation, everything changes. You stop living for the claps and start living for the calling. You stop asking, "Do they like me?" and start asking, "Do I like me?" You stop performing and start becoming. And here's the paradox. When you no longer need validation, you attract more of it. People respect women who stand firm in their truth. People are drawn to those who don't need approval to breathe, to walk, to dream, to exist. That kind of confidence is magnetic, not because it's loud, but because it's unshakable. So let me tell you this truth and carve it into your heart. You don't need anyone to hand you a stamp that says, worthy. You don't need anyone to tell you that you're enough. You already are. The day you stop chasing validation is the day you step into your full, unapologetic power. And the world won't just notice. It will follow. A smart woman never chases validation because she knows she was born validated. Love. The word itself has been turned into a battlefield where too many women lose themselves. From movies to fairy tales, we've been taught that love is something we must chase, something we must earn, something we must bend ourselves into pieces for. We're told that if we just try harder, give more, sacrifice deeper, then maybe, just maybe, someone will love us back the way we deserve. And so, too many women run. They run after half-hearted promises. They run after people who never choose them fully. They run after the illusion of love, thinking the chase itself proves devotion. But here's the truth: love that requires a chase is not love. It's negotiation. And you should never have to negotiate your worth. Think about the exhausting cycle. You give more, you compromise more, you wait longer. You lower your standards just to hold on to someone who refuses to meet you where you are. You justify their absence. You excuse their silence. You mistake breadcrumbs for a feast. And in doing so, you start shrinking. You stop asking yourself the most important question. If I have to run after it, is it really mine? Real love doesn't demand that you abandon yourself to be worthy of it. Real love doesn't thrive on desperation. If love is meant for you, it will meet you. It will recognize you. It will honor you. A smart woman understands this difference. She doesn't play hide and seek with affection. She doesn't waste her time chasing after people who keep running away. She doesn't make excuses for being treated as an option. She knows her heart is not a bargain to be sold to the lowest bidder. It's a treasure meant to be cherished. And when she loves fully, but she also loves wisely. She knows that the foundation of love is not pursuit, it's reciprocity. Two people walking side by side, not one person chasing while the other keeps escaping. And here's something powerful: love is not a finish line. It's not about who wins the relationship or who holds on the longest. Love is energy, it's presence, it's commitment. If someone cannot give you that without you chasing them down, they don't deserve to stand in your life. Too many women believe that if they stop running, they'll end up alone. But let me tell you this: loneliness is not the absence of a partner. Loneliness is the absence of self. And there is nothing lonelier than losing yourself while trying to catch someone who doesn't even want to be caught. When you stop chasing love, you start attracting it. That's the paradox. Because true love is drawn to authenticity, not desperation. When you live fully as yourself, when you build a life filled with passion, growth, and purpose, you radiate a power that love cannot resist. You become magnetic. The kind of love that lasts, The kind of love that transforms does not need chasing. It needs space. Space for two people to stand strong on their own, yet choose each other every day. That's love. Not pursuit, not performance, but partnership. So if you've ever been told you need to fight, beg, or run for love, erase that lie from your heart. The love that is meant for you will not need to be chased. It will walk toward you with open hands, steady feet, and an unshakable presence. And when it arrives, you won't feel tired, you won't feel anxious, you won't feel small. You'll feel safe. You'll feel seen. You'll feel at home. That's how you know it's real. A smart woman never chases love because she understands that real love will never make her run. It will simply meet her where she stands. Opportunities. The very word makes hearts race. We're taught to grab them, to run after them, to chase them as if our lives depend on it. We're told, if you don't go after every single chance, you'll be left behind. And so many women exhaust themselves sprinting after doors that were never meant for them. They spend years begging to be let in and knocking on gates that were built to keep them out, compromising their joy just to say, I made it. But here's the truth. A smart woman knows that not every door is hers to open. And she doesn't lose herself trying to force entry where she was never meant to belong. The chase for opportunities often comes from fear. Fear of being overlooked, fear of being forgotten, fear of being left behind. And when fear drives you, it will lead you straight into situations that drain you. You'll accept jobs that suffocate you, relationships that limit you, projects that exploit you. Because deep down, you're not chasing the opportunity itself. You're chasing the security it promises. But let me tell you, security built on desperation is fragile. The moment you have to run after an opportunity that treats you as disposable, you've already given away your power. A smart woman doesn't beg for spaces to include her. She builds her own. She understands that rejection isn't the end of the story. It's redirection. Every closed door is an answer, not an insult. Every missed chance is a compass pointing her somewhere greater. Instead of chasing opportunities that slip through her fingers, she invests her time into sharpening her skills, expanding her vision, and preparing herself so that when the right opportunity comes, she doesn't need to run. It will find her ready. That's the difference between chasing and attracting. Chasing drains you. Attracting prepares you. And make no mistake, there's a profound difference between working hard and chasing. Working hard is about discipline, consistency, and focus. Chasing, on the other hand, is rooted in desperation. When you chase, you accept less than you deserve because you're afraid something better may never come. But when you stand in your worth, when you trust your journey, you realize that no opportunity worth having requires you to beg for it. The right door doesn't slam shut. The right door opens wide because it recognizes you were the one it was waiting for all along. Opportunities are not rare diamonds buried deep underground. They are abundant. They exist everywhere. But the problem is, too many women are looking in places that diminish them. They're chasing opportunities that are all flash and no depth. A smart woman knows that what is truly meant for her will not require her to compromise her values, her peace, or her dignity. She doesn't chase opportunities to prove her worth. She lets her worth create opportunities. And when she does, she stops living in scarcity and starts moving in abundance. So if you've been running, pause. If you've been chasing doors that keep closing, stop. Your life is not about begging for permission to succeed. It's about preparing yourself so fully, building yourself so strongly, and knowing yourself so deeply that when the right opportunity arrives, you don't have to force it. You just walk through it. Because here's the truth. The opportunities that belong to you will not run. They will not hide. They will not disappear. They will wait until you are ready. And when the time comes, they will stand wide open, unshakable, undeniable, and yours. A smart woman never chases opportunities because she knows the ones meant for her will never need to be chased. They will align, arrive, and belong. Friendship is one of the most sacred forms of connection we have as human beings. It's where we find support, laughter, comfort, and belonging. But too often, women are conditioned to chase friendships that don't pour back into them. They find themselves clinging to people who show up only when it's convenient, who vanish when times get tough, who make them constantly question if they even matter. And here's the heartbreaking part. Many women confuse proximity for loyalty, mistaking people who stand beside them in the spotlight for friends who will hold their hand in the darkness. A smart woman knows the difference. She never wastes her time chasing a friendship that demands she prove her worth over and over again. When you chase a friendship, you're essentially saying, I am not enough as I am, but maybe if I try harder, you'll accept me. That mindset is poison. You start over-giving, over-explaining, over-compensating just to earn a place in someone else's life. You find yourself making excuses for why they cancel, why they forget, why they never show up for you in the same way you show up for them. And eventually, you begin to carry the weight of the friendship all by yourself. That's not friendship. That's self-betrayal disguised as loyalty. Real friendship is not a chase, it's a choice. Both people choosing every single day to invest in each other equally. A smart woman understands that true friends are not kept through begging or convincing. They are revealed through consistency, through presence, through reciprocity. She doesn't force her way into circles that don't welcome her. She doesn't cling to people who only celebrate her wins, but disappear during her losses. She knows that the quality of her friendships will define the quality of her life, and so she chooses wisely. She invests in friendships that water her soul, not drain her spirit. She surrounds herself with people who see her not as competition, but as family. The danger of chasing friendships is that it pulls you away from authenticity. You start silencing your voice just to fit in. You start lowering your standards just to be accepted. You start molding yourself into who they want you to be instead of standing firmly in who you are. And here's the truth. If someone can only be your friend when you shrink yourself, they were never your friend to begin with. Real friends don't require you to edit your personality or dim your light. They love you in your fullness, your strength, your flaws, your fire, your growth. And let's be clear, choosing not to chase friendships doesn't mean you become cold, detached, or isolated. It means you set a higher standard for who gets access to your energy. You recognize that not everyone deserves a front row seat in your life. Some people are meant to be lessons, not lifelong companions. And when you stop chasing friendships that aren't aligned, you create space for the ones that are. You start attracting people who match your energy, who celebrate your wins as their own, who grieve your losses as if they were theirs. Friendships like that don't need chasing. They thrive effortlessly. So if you find yourself chasing, pause and ask, why am I running after people who keep walking away? Your life is too valuable, your time too precious, and your heart too rare to be spent begging for a friendship that doesn't exist. The friends meant for you will show up without being begged. They will stay without being forced, and they will prove themselves without being tested. Those are the friendships worth holding on to. The rest, let them go. A smart woman never chases friendships because she knows the right ones will never make her question her place. They will protect it, honor it, and cherish it. Success. The word that drives entire generations to grind, to hustle, to sacrifice everything in pursuit of it. We are told from the moment we can walk that success is the ultimate prize, the crown that proves our value. And because of this, countless women spend their lives chasing it, chasing titles, chasing salaries, chasing recognition. They run so fast toward the next milestone that they forget to breathe, to feel, to live. But a smart woman knows something the world rarely teaches. Success that must be chased will never satisfy you. Success without peace is not success. It's slavery with a prettier name. The danger of chasing success is that it never ends. No matter how much you achieve, there is always another finish line waiting just ahead. You get the promotion. Suddenly it isn't enough. You earn the degree. You need another. You hit the financial milestone. You want more. Chasing success keeps you in a state of restlessness, where fulfillment is always one step away. And that's the trap. The chase makes you believe that your worth is tied to constant achievement. But real worth isn't measured in accomplishments. It's measured in the impact you leave, the peace you carry, and the life you build along the way. A smart woman doesn't define herself by external applause. She knows that titles can be stripped, money can be lost, fame can fade. What cannot be taken away is the character she builds, the wisdom she gathers, and the integrity she stands on. She doesn't chase success because she understands that chasing means running after something outside herself. Instead, she cultivates it within. She sets her standards, invests in her growth, takes bold actions, and lets success flow from her alignment, not her desperation. That is why her success lasts. It is built, not begged for. And here's the paradox. The more you chase success, the further it runs. It's like trying to grab smoke with your bare hands. The tighter you clutch, the quicker it slips away. But when you stop running and start becoming, success finds you. The woman who knows her worth, who is grounded in her values, who refuses to measure herself by someone else's checklist. She is the one who draws success naturally. Not because she chases it, but because she embodies it. People recognize it in her presence, in her work, in the way she walks into a room. She becomes undeniable. Too many women believe that to be successful, they must burn themselves out. They must sacrifice joy, relationships, health, even identity. But what good is success if it costs you yourself? What good is standing on a podium if your soul is empty? A smart woman doesn't confuse business for achievement. She doesn't confuse exhaustion for progress. She defines success on her own terms. And on her terms, it includes fulfillment, balance, and peace. She knows that the life she builds matters far more than the applause she collects. So hear me clearly, stop running. Stop chasing after a version of success that was never meant for you. The degrees, the awards, the salaries, the applause, they can all be beautiful, but they are not the prize. The prize is becoming the woman who knows her value without them. The prize is creating a life that feels good on the inside, not just looks good on the outside. The prize is freedom. And the moment you stop chasing, you realize success was never a destination. It was always who you were becoming along the way. A smart woman never chases success because she knows true success isn't something you run after. It's something you live, breathe, and become.